right, hi everybody. David Fogel back with you, CEO of the Symphonina Foundation, back with another Symphonina Foundation podcast. I have a very special guest today, Bei Bei. She's a player of a Chinese zither called a Guzheng. She played with multiple symphonies in her career as well as her own solo work. And we're just delighted to be able to meet today. Bei Bei, how are you?
Hi, David. I'm very good. How are you? So nice to meet you.
I'm glad to be back home. My wife and I were in Hawaii last week, which would normally be great. And it was pretty good. But it was not very sunny for the entire week. So we've had more sun in the time that we've been back here in San Diego than the entire week we were over there. And, you know, sometimes it's just good to get back home and get back in the swing of things and meet new people for our podcast and all that. And, you know, I'm really very interested to hear how you got started on this instrument. It's like I said, it's a Chinese zither. I'm really not familiar with the instrument,
Yes.
the guzheng. I am a little familiar with what you described to me. It's called a koto, which is a Japanese kind of thing. From my jazz background in the band Hiroshima. But let's say, how did you get started playing the guzheng, and then let's hear how it all developed for you.
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you. Thank you so much for interviewing me for this podcast. I'm very, very excited to share my story with the listeners. So I started to play the guzheng when I was 7 years old in China, where I was born and raised in the city called Chengdu. It's in southwest China in a province called Sichuan. Actually, I want to mention my province because it's famous for two things. First of all, it's the panda bears. Everybody knows the panda bears,
Yes,
right?
indeed, yes.
And also for the spicy, savory, delicious food called the Sichuan cuisine. So that's where my home province is famous for, the panda bears and the cuisine.
Yeah.
So I started playing the instrument when I was 7, when I first heard it from a friend, a childhood friend. She was playing it. She was about, I think, 11 or 12 years old, only been playing it for a couple months. She showed me a very simple, beautiful classical Chinese tune. And I just instantly fell in love. I feel that's just like, you know, when you were a child, you just know what you like. Now I just kind of really fell in love with the instrument. I kind of really begged my mom, say, hey, mom, can you please get this instrument? I want to learn it. And that time, it was 1988, you know, like a long time ago in China. And people, back then, most people have very little money, like a very minimal income. And my parents, they were just regular workers. My mom was an accountant for a school. My dad is a doctor in the hospital, but they still have very limited income. So my mom kind of hesitated, you know, if she's gonna letting me to do this. But I was so persuasive. I remembered I was talking to her, nagging her about it for over a month. And finally she said, okay, let me find out how can I get you lessons. And I was very fortunate because someone worked with my mom. Her colleague had a daughter who was also learning this instrument, and also she was a very good player. She already went to the conservatory, you know, to become a professional player, and she introduced her teacher to me. That was my first instructor, and her name is Li Jingsha, and she worked for the Sichuan Conservatory of Music, and she was a professor teaching the guzheng. So I had a really good start from beginning. So I'm really, really thankful for my parents for their support.
Well, that's great. And I can imagine, you know, when you have those tough financial choices to make, it can be a risky thing for anybody to do, but it's paid off. It's great. So you grew up and you went all the way through your high school and your conservatory, and then you came to America about what time?
I came to America in 2003.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you fit right in? I imagine not. I mean, it's tough. It's like not the traditional instrument. It's not, hey, here's an electric guitar player. Let's put her in a band. I mean, you got your own thing, and you've got your own path to make, right? So how did you go about making that path for yourself?
That's a very unique story. I came to the US not because I was continuing pursuing a career as a musician. I actually came here because I gave up to being a performer, a guzheng musician. I was in college in Hong Kong and doing my music major. And one time I participated in a international Guzheng competition, and I did not do well for the second round. So kind of I just lost it on stage, and I couldn't really fully present, and I made a big mistake. So that experience really crushed me. And so from that point, I was super depressed. I went through a time just lost. I didn't know what I should be, what if I should continue. Now I was keeping telling myself, oh, I just can't do this well on stage. Even though I practice so much, but what happened? I just kind of was in a bad circle, just keep looping in my head. So in the end, I convinced myself, okay, I should pursue something else rather than being a musician performing on stage. I should do something under the scene. So instead, continue pursue my major as a Guzheng performance in the Hong Kong Academy for Performing Arts. I decided to switch my major to go to theater technical design and emphasizing in audio engineering and sound design.
Okay.
So from there, I actually started to, working with stage sound, recording music, and started to compose music for theater productions. So that's a very interesting experience. That I did that for about a year, and during that time, I was thinking, if I would continue my path at this path, I need to go to America, go to the best school in the whole world to learn this, right?
Wow.
So I just decided, okay, I'm gonna go to America to continue my studies in music production and engineering, all that. So I went online and found a bunch of colleges who would accept somebody has a musical background and offer a music production degree. So that's how I came to the US, as to continue to learn music engineering, production, and music business. So yeah, after I came, I went to school, and I also brought my instrument, the guzheng. It's huge. The guzheng is about 163 centimeters long without the case. If inside the case, it will be 170 centimeters long. It's a huge thing. So I brought it over. I left in my living room. I didn't really touch in the beginning. Until later on, I had college friend was asking, okay, baby, what is that inside that big case there? Then I started to telling, oh, that's an instrument I play. I just made it very lightly. Oh, that's an instrument I play. And so then they asked me, okay, can you please show us? So I decided to play something, and they were so amazed, and they just gave me a super good feedback and encouraged me to play music again, and to play with different musicians. There were DJs jam with them and hip hop artists to play with them, start to improvise. Because if I play with those artists, there are no music written for me to do it. I have to kind of invent it.
Yeah.
So that opens another door of me actually doing music again in US, is being kind of discovered by people who didn't know about the guzheng and who encouraged me to pursue this.
As you've done that, you've managed to play with different orchestras too. I believe the UC Irvine Orchestra, Pacific Symphony, and another game ensemble orchestra at UCLA. So first, I'd have to ask you, how did those opportunities come to you, or how did you create them?
Okay, thank you for asking. So I first performed with the UC Irvine Symphony Orchestra in 2007. And that was for a very famous Chinese concerto called The Butterfly Lovers. It was originally composed for the violin. It's a very long concerto, about 23 minutes long. And it's probably one of the most famous Chinese classical music piece out there. So I was invited by the conductor, Stephen Tucker, and he used to be the conductor for UC Irvine Symphony, and now he's retired. And so he actually worked with me from a previous production with a Chinese classical singer, his concert, and I had to perform a few pieces, and he got to work with me, Stephen Tucker. Then after the concert, and he invited me. I said, hey, baby, how about you play with the UC Irvine Symphony Orchestra? What a piece do you have? Can you play? Then I, right off my head, I just thought about this piece is because it's just, so well known in both the Chinese and the Western world for being a Chinese music piece. So I presented to him, and he really loved the music, and he said, "Okay, let's do it." So now OUC Urban Symphony purchased the full score from the composer He Zhanghao in China, and then we worked together, and we did two concerts as part of their school symphony concert, and I was just being featured as a guest soloist. So that's why that was my first experience working with orchestra here in the US. So after that, it didn't really continue like right away. I had another opportunity to work with symphony orchestra until later on. I worked with UCLA game music ensemble of a few times because they actually performed game music. And inside the music score, there were Chinese instruments. So they invited me to play the Guzheng as one of the soloists. Then later on, then I got to work with the composer from UCLA. His name's Adam Gaberti. And he and I composed a Guzheng solo piece called Water and Fire Rhapsody. And I asked him if he can work with me to make this piece a orchestra version, with full Western instruments, a symphony orchestra, because of the piece, it has a very fusion feel. In the beginning of the piece, it's really beautiful, flowing, kind of like really represents the Chinese music spirits very well. But the second piece is totally jazz. It's very rhythmic. The movements, the rhythm, I really just it's jazz music. So I feel like it's a great contemporary work for Guzheng combining with a symphony orchestra playing jazz. So I asked him if he would like to work with me. Then he accepted the invitation, and we worked together for about a few months. Now we finished actually the arrangements of the new concerto in 2018, but we did not have a premiere until 2022. That was with the UCLA Game Music Ensemble. Yeah.
And you've also performed with the Pacific Symphony too, I believe.
Yes, Pacific Symphony 3 times with them at their Lunar New Year concert as a featured soloist. One time it's actually 2 out of the 3 times I performed with them, I did my original compositions. But I did not do the orchestra part. So I had the composition, and they hired orchestrator to make the orchestration. And the first one is in 2018, and that piece is called Tiger's Heart. It's a very uplifting kind of pop music influenced piece, which I co-written with a composer here in LA. His name is Fingazz, John Starry. And the second time I worked with the Pacific Symphony, it's also for the Lunar New Year. If I remember correctly, it's 2021 or 22, maybe 22 or 21, one of them a year. Still during COVID, because I had to wear a mask on stage. So I prepared a very bling mask, so it looks good on stage.
Yeah, exactly.
So that time I actually did 2 pieces with them, all original compositions. The one's called Fireworks, another one's called Spring Awakens. So it's really perfect for the occasion. And the last time I did it with Pacific Symphony is this year, 2025, Lunar New Year in February. I performed a very well-known Chinese classical piece. It's called E-Dance. And that was with a beautiful orchestration arranged again with by Adam Gaberti. So 3 times. I'm very fortunate.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and it's also demonstrates that just because you play an instrument that's not found in a traditional orchestra doesn't mean that you don't have opportunities to play with orchestra. You might be the solo performer, or maybe there's other opportunities to play along with it as part of the ensemble. But you have a new album coming out in February called Two Moons. And before we get to that, I did want to ask you, did you have an opportunity to perform on the Disney Mulan movie? I have that in my notes here.
Yes, I had.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, that was a really wonderful experience. One of the highlight of my career. So that was at the end of 2019. I
Hmm.
think around this time, right before Christmas, I was called into studio to work with Greg Harrison Williams and his team. And so he was scoring for Mulan, and there were I think 2 days we were at the Village Studio in LA.
Yeah.
Um, it's hard to perform scores written by Western composers because they don't really follow the rules of I guess because my instrument it's traditionally is pentatonic. It has a lot of limitation in terms of scales I can play or notes I can play in a sequence,
Yep.
right? So it takes a lot of experience to understand how to work around those sessions, and and also to make the sessions as efficient as possible. But yeah, but it was really beautiful music for me to perform, and I think a really wonderful thing is they actually came with that theme song. Um, Loyal, Brave, and True, and later on, sang by Christina Aguilera.
Yeah.
So that piece was kind of made on the little bit on the fly in the studio when I was there. So before I was in studio, they had the song kind of written already, but they didn't really have my instrument in there. They had strings, they had drums, but they decided to, hey, how about let's bring baby into the upstairs studio, the
Hmm.
different one. Let's see if we can record this Guzheng part and make a Guzheng arrangements into this piece. And so yeah, that's how later on when you hear the final version, Guzheng and the Western instrument, they fuse together in harmony, backing Christina's powerful voice to make this song a really beautiful fusion, contemporary fusion.
That's wonderful. I hope you have many more opportunities like that. And I do want to ask you, as the time we have left, to
Thank
talk
you.
about yeah, of course, to talk about your new album coming up. You have a single out already. It was released about a month ago for New
Yes,
Moons. But let's hear about your album.
yes. So my album is called Two Moons. And the name, I want to explain a little bit the name because the two moons doesn't really mean there are two moons. It actually means the moon and its reflection. So from what I have seen, really visually, because in 2024, that night, I was recording at my home studio. That night, it was the Harvest Full Moon Festival, one
Yep.
of the major festival in Chinese culture. Also in some other Asian country as well. We celebrate the Moon Festival,
Hmm.
and that day normally you would be gathered together with your family, eating mooncakes together, or just share a beautiful moon sight. But now I'm here. I'm here in US. I'm I'm just working on my new album, and I was actually just improvising with the track that my collaborator, his name is Paul Elliott. He actually lives in London. We've been sending back tracks. And that's how we've been working together. And he sending me this really tranquil, lo-fi, organic, electronic music, texture and beats. So I would just improvise. The music was really came out beautiful. So after I'm done with that session, I finished working. I went to downstairs, and I suddenly look over the window. Wow, I saw two moons there. One it's the real moon, and another one is the reflection. Somehow, just at the right angle, it was just right there, and I saw it. And I never saw that before. And I just decided, okay, I'm gonna. I just grabbed my camera. I took the picture of the two moons, and just said, okay, I'm just gonna call this song Two Moons. Because for instrumental songs, it's so very hard to title it. Sometimes can be super hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't have lyrics. You kind of, especially with this piece is improvised. Before I improvised it, I didn't really have an intention how this is gonna come. I just kind of flow with the music. But then now, after I saw the vision, I had a perfect name for it. And later on, I was talking to Paul about it. He felt this perfect too, because it also symbolized, just me and him working in different part of the world. We see the moons different times too, and the music we create it's modern futuristic soundscape with traditional Chinese ancient strings. So this is like, the duality of two different elements, how they really combine together in this new beautiful harmony. So that's kind of like the core concept of this album. And all the other pieces, it's also based on this concept. Like, even though I play a traditional Chinese instrument, actually two different ones. One is Guzheng, my main instrument, another one is Guzheng. I also have a track in this album used the Guzheng. And even though they are both ancient, but I'm interpreting them and making music with them in a very contemporary and futuristic way, and hoping to reach global audience who does not necessarily to have to be Chinese music lovers or electronic music lovers. They just have to feel the emotions my music conveys. I feel that's really important. How you can make music a world language. It's a lot of times through the emotions. Because different culture, they will have their own familiar melodies, right? Or different musical heritage, in terms of theory, melody, or different scales. But I feel the emotions, that's what can touch universally, if you can convey that.
Yeah. So your album's coming out in February 20th, I have in my notes.
That's correct.
And are you going to be doing some promotion for it in the months that follow?
Yes, and I happen to, in February, is Lunar New Year. And there are lots of events. Now I'm already booked for 7.
Yes, you are, yes.
Yes, 7 shows. So that will be the perfect opportunity for me to spread the word and perform the new music from the album and sharing that contemporary Lunar New Year spirit with everyone. And the album has 7 pieces. Some of them is very meditative, tranquil, peaceful. Some of them very high energy, really fun. So I'm really excited to share a dynamic range of music with the audience.
That sounds good. I have a different question for you. Do you get requests to teach the Guzheng to other people?
Oh, yes, I do. I am a Guzheng instructor. I've been teaching for over 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't teach as much as I used to. I try to limit my teaching so I can focus a little bit more on my, being a performer and composer. But then I definitely teach. I make people able to, even if you are here in the US, if you want to learn it, you still have an opportunity, And also, I live in Irvine. It's a big Chinese community. So, a lot of people have Chinese kids, and they want their children to continue to take, the cultural heritage. So, yeah. So I do teach.
That's wonderful. If people want to get in touch with you, Bei Bei, whether it's to learn your instrument or to learn more about Two Moons, or perhaps to have you play in a movie for them in the future, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Oh, thank you for asking. You can reach me easily on Instagram. My handle is Bei Bei Music, BEI Music. Yeah, that's pretty much my handle for Facebook, my YouTube. Yeah, if you want to write me via email, it's fine too. info@beibeizheng.com. Thank you.
All right, Bei Bei, we're going to listen to some more of your music, Two Moons, on the way out here. Greatly appreciate you spending some time with us and teaching us about a new instrument today, too, and how it can be used in symphonic music as well. We wish you the best of success with your album. And if there's anything else we can do at the Symphonina Foundation to be of help to you, you just let us know.
Thank you so much, David, and happy holidays to you and your family.